It's Press Pass with Jack Ebling, Mid-Michigan's spirited sports debate. Now let's get talking sports. Here's Jack.
Great evening, Mid-Michigan and beyond, and welcome to is this May again? Edition of Press Pass on Fox 47. Just when we thought the Detroit Tigers were ready to vault into first place in the AL Central, they were swept at home by the first place Chicago White Sox, a team with 324 losses the last three seasons. The Pale Hose pounded the ball all weekend and made Major League Baseball's stingiest starting rotation look younger and thinner than anyone would have imagined. In college football, we are 19 nights from the start of the Pat Fitzgerald era at Michigan State and 20 from Kyle Whittingham's debut at Michigan. Whatever problems those teams may face this season, leadership won't be one of them. The Detroit Lions opened preseason play with a loss at Cincinnati Thursday. No one will remember that when they host the Chicago Bears in the first half of a wild football-basketball doubleheader in the D on Thanksgiving Thursday. Here to talk about all that and more is Team 672, two true pros who could do a 4-hour show. Sean Baligian, one of the state's most versatile voices, terrific with play-by-play of all sports at all levels, with sports talk on both sides of the state, and is one of my favorite radio guests on The Drive with Jack. How are you, Sean?
Jack, I'd be so much better if I could get off this Tiger roller coaster right now. I've had enough. It's insane, but they keep you watching, don't they?
Yeah, absolutely. When we were down there watching the Tigers earlier this year, I wasn't sure we would see this one, but hey, there's a lot of baseball yet to be played. Also back with us tonight, Tom Crawford, Blue Belly Tom, my broadcast partner for 24 and a half years, everyone's favorite East Lansing Wolverine, a brave cancer conqueror, and co-host of the new Jack and Tom Green and Blue video podcast from September 3rd through the Final Four. You ready for some football, Tom?
I'm ready for football, but I got clearly entertained by Sean Baligian. The first 3 minutes in the green room going on his rant about the Tigers. It was can't miss, YouTube TV, whatever. It was awesome. We're going to have a great show tonight.
And you can watch this show now on our YouTube channel, Press Pass with Jack. You can go on and watch it anytime. So on-demand viewing for that. And we're going to make our podcast available for you in an easy way, too. We'll be right back talking Tigers next. Welcome back to Press Pass on Fox 47. It's time for our Belting the Long Ball segment, brought to you by Forest Acres Golf Courses and Golf MSU. Play Acres West, the number 3 rated college course in the country, and enjoy some of the best grass tee practice areas in the Midwest. Call 517-355-1635 to make reservations today.
Line drive down the right field line. It'll be extra bases. Keith around third. He will score. They're going to wave home McKinstry. He will score. Callahan on his way to third. Save! Two-run triple to start his major league career and deliver a 2-0 lead in the second. How about it?
It's not injury related, but we have seen his fastball velocity dip recently.
Drew Romo, back it goes. It is gone. 7th home run of the season. Local news is to alert people in situations like that. Murakami sends this one deep in the air. Back it goes. Murakami with a moonshot in Detroit. He gives the Sox the lead here in the 7th with a 2-run home run. And the White Sox come from behind to take the lead. Vargas, hello, goodbye. What a blast from Miguel Vargas. We were just talking about White Sox needing insurance, and there's the home run. Vargas, his 28th of the season.
Quite the major league debut for call-up Brett Callahan, triple in his first at bat, driving in a couple. But you saw the White Sox, they got the memo about belting the long ball sooner than the Tigers did. And, you know, you see a guy like Romo, Drew Romo batting 130, didn't stop him from hitting a 2-run homer. Murakami can hit him out to any park, including Yellowstone. And then you see Vargas, and he had 3 home runs this weekend. Sean, what happened to one of the hottest teams in baseball since June 1st?
You know what? It's the Tigers doing Tiger things. This has been the whole year, Jack. I mean, when you think you can bury them, they rise up. When you think, okay, here they come, they fall back down. I think it's been a snapshot of the last 3 years. I mean, when you think about it, 2024 down the stretch, that 31-13 stretch, and then the absolute opposite happened last year in the second half, a historic blowing. And this is the Tigers doing Tiger things. But Jack, you made reference to this earlier when we were at that game in June. I think it was the Astros game.
Yes.
You look at this bullpen and you just, how can you even be in the position that they're in right now with this bullpen? I mean, there really isn't one thing to feel confident about in that bullpen.
Tom, a lot of people thought that we might get a sweep this weekend, but they didn't see that one. Tigers had been winning series and the White Sox backsliding. What happened?
Well, yeah, it's funny you say that. I had friends going down Friday night, Saturday, and today. All from Lansing area, all enthusiastic, all bought their tickets within the last 2 weeks, and look what happens. I mean, I was telling Sean before we went on, I mean, the White Sox are what the Tigers wish they were. I mean, they're youth-wise, they're about the same age, but they are a mature team, timely hitting. And then Melton got hammered yesterday. Jackson Jobe, doesn't matter who it is.
Yeah.
And it's just the White Sox are really impressive. A crushing loss, a 4-1 lead, and boom. Wow. I mean, I think it's over myself.
Sean, I guess we learned Friday night that Jackson Jobe isn't Bob Gibson just yet, giving up 5 in the 4th. That just get the series off on the wrong foot?
Yeah, and I think this is what you see with young pitchers, and the same thing can be said about Melton on Saturday. Yeah. It's one thing to get yourself in trouble, but when you're consistently getting yourself in trouble, it's going to catch up to you. And the volume of base runners that those guys put on, both of them, Melton's been able to wiggle out of it a little bit in the past few weeks. More often than not at this level, you're just not going to wiggle out of it. And I think you saw that Friday night, and you really saw it with Melton. What had worked for him in a few starts earlier this year just didn't click on Saturday.
Tom, the disappointment in these parts was even greater yesterday. People assumed that Troy Melton, who was pitching as well as anyone in baseball, would get a win. Never happened.
Yeah, I want to top ERAs. Yeah, once again, it's just they just find ways of losing, and even these series where they with Cleveland, they should have won them all. I mean, you're going to you can't just take 2 or 3, especially now moving forward. If you drop 0-3 to the Chiefs, you got to go one more time to Chicago. I think that's a
4-game set in September in Chicago.
In September. Well, the thing will probably be over. We'll be talking totally football by the time that series.
And it's possible that we could have a wild card team at 80 and 82. When you look at the teams, that's a little strange. Sean, the Tigers looked like a different team for a few innings today. Had that 4-1 lead. And then, the White Sox kept chipping away, and amazing what the long ball can do.
Jack, that's what frightens me about this team so much. And honestly, I think that's what is eventually going to be this team's undoing. I think they're going to stay in this wild card race. I don't think they're going to go anywhere. But when you get into the 5th and 6th and 7th innings and you have to count on this bullpen, I'll reiterate, I don't know how any human could have confidence in this pen or really any of the arms that come running out from this pen. If
you have a 5-run lead, what might help on that, Sean?
That would help.
That's true too.
3 wasn't enough today.
It wasn't. No. That's a frustrating thing. And that's why, I was joking with Tom. I'm usually enjoy the ride, and let's see what happens. It's 162 games. I'm losing hair at a record pace every game. It just seems like every night I'm yanking hair out of my head.
Yeah. Sean, how much does this week really mean when you think of how long a season this is. But coming home to Comerica, a little momentum. No one thought they'd go 2-4.
I think you can kiss the Central goodbye. I have famous last words. I'm sure somebody will throw them in my face because this is the Tigers after all.
Right.
When you think you know what's going on, think again. I think you can kiss the Central away, though. I think the White Sox showed me, as Tom was saying, they're a better team right now. They've got a lot of it factors going on right now.
Yeah.
But this wild card race is probably going to come down to the very end. It really is, because nobody wants to grab it. There isn't one team out there that says, no, I'm going to take this last spot. So the Tigers are going to milk every bit of emotion out of us as they can.
Tom, the Tigers are one good series from being back atop the wild card race. And here they are, still second in the division. Yeah. We said they have 4 games in Chicago, and they did have a series sweep over the White Sox earlier. Do you think that they can finish above 500?
I think they could. I mean, I agree with Sean. I mean, I think the White Sox are going to be the division champs. But I mean, the division is so bad they could squeak in. And if you get in as a wild card, who knows what's going to happen? It's like the NCAA tournament. You can make a decent run. There's been crazier things happen. But I don't even think that's going to happen quite.
Not much crazier than what the White Sox could do. You talk about a team with 3 straight 100-loss seasons going on to be division champs. We'll be right back, college football. Welcome back to Press Pass here on Fox 47. It's time for our Going Green segment, brought to you by Graf Chevrolet and Graf Nissan on West Grand River in Okemos. With 108 years in the automobile business, they'll take great care of you, as they have on all 8 of my leases and purchases. For new or used vehicles or great service, go green, go Graf.
Banks to throw with time. Now rolls to his right. Fires deep. Looking for Nigeria. Got him for a touchdown! Touchdown Spartans! Tony to Nigeria for the score with 1:24 to go. He went topside for 25 out of a great scramble.
Let's see whether or not the Irish go after him. Burke rolls it out. Buys a little time. Wants to go deep. Burris is out there, and Burris has got it. And he's on his way. He is in there. Touchdown. Now they want to use as much time as possible. If a touchdown ensues, great. Otherwise, work for the short field goal. But Duckett's got other ideas. He's in! Touchdown! The bulldozer from 11 yards out puts Michigan State in front.
3 great moments when Spartan Stadium mattered, when there was a real home field advantage. You saw Tony Banks to Nigeria Carter in 1995 when Michigan and Michigan State both had very successful first-year head coaches. Big win over Notre Dame. Spartans tremendous underdogs after a 48-14 pounding at Oregon. All they did was lead 42-3 over the Irish at the half. And then the win over Penn State and TJ Duckett. Now Todd, 4 touchdowns in the last game, regular season game of his freshman year. Sean, what do those 3 triumphs from the Saban era tell you?
Well, you know what? It's going to be nice to see at least Notre Dame back on the schedule. And the Michigan game's always the Michigan game. Contrary to what some people at Michigan say, rivalries still mean something. I mean that. And I'm really looking forward to the Michigan game. And I'm really looking forward to seeing what this era does. But, Jack, I'm old school. To see Notre Dame back on the schedule makes me very, very happy.
Tom, you've seen disappointing seasons, not as many as I have, but when you have a season like the Spartans did last year, what's the key to flipping the script and getting a different mentality?
Well, I think it's being competitive against high-level competition. I've said this all summer long. When we get into the 26th season, as this upcoming season, that third game in South Bend, compete during the game. Yeah. And then that will roll over the Nebraska game and then the Illinois game and going down to Ann Arbor. Just play 4-quarter game And I think this team will do that. I'm still
Yeah.
between 6 and 7 wins, but I think you're going to optically see a whole different picture on your screen when you watch Michigan State from last year.
Sean, looking at the Spartans' 26 schedule, they're picked to win 4.5 games at the most in Las Vegas. Some have said 3.5. Which games do you see as W's for MSU?
You know, I think you have to look at the first two. No disrespect intended, but you have to look at the first two. Maybe the game against Northwestern, I think you can look at that one. I would love to see them go out to UCLA and win that game. I know that's easier said than done. There's a real issue with the travel. Take care of business against Rutgers and maybe Washington at home. But to that point, Jack, I'm stuck on 5. I hope I'm wrong. I made my little girl a promise that I'd take her to a bowl game. She graduates in December, and I got to keep my promise.
It's one of the softer Big Ten schedules when you don't play Ohio State or Indiana, but they do have that game at South Bend that no one expects Michigan State to win. Guys, there's a different feel around the program. I can tell you that. And let's hear from someone who's seen 31 flavors of football around here.
One of the best that has ever been here in the history of Spartan football. Head strength coach Ken Manning for 25 years. Coach, you got anything you want to share real quick?
All right, number one, real quick. I know you guys are tired, you got other things to do. But there was discipline, there was effort, there was toughness, there was leadership. I was thoroughly impressed. And I know the film might show some different stuff, but just on the surface, guys, you guys are getting after it. And the way you're getting after it is special. I just want you to know that. I'm all about giving messages. So one quick message, Coach, if I could, real quick. Put your name on it. Put your name on it. Every single day, before you leave your room, you say, I'm going to put my name on this. What's that? Well, first of all, I'm putting the Spartan name on it, and then I'm putting my family name on it. What am I putting those names on? The effort that I give today. And from the time you walk out that door of your room to the time you put your feet on the bed to go to bed, I am putting my name. I'm going to be proud of it. Are you proud of today's practice, what you did?
Yeah, hell yeah,
Are you proud of it?
Hell yeah.
Okay, every day, right? Put your name on it. And if you live by that motto, that credo, you can never go wrong. You will be a winner. Looking forward to this year, Coach.
Thanks, man. Get in there, break it down. Let's go.
I want hard work. Hard work. 1, 2. 1, 2. Hard work.
Tom, switching sports. Cohen Carr, I think it's going to surprise a lot of people this season. I've been watching him, and he's taken his game to another level, and I don't mean the 53-inch vertical. He's now more than just a highlight dunker. But wouldn't it be wild if we wind up doing the Jack and Tom green and blue reviews from Ford Field at the Final Four with 2 teams there?
Yeah, just bring your anxiety medication. Get your prescription lined up right now because it might happen. And Cohen Carr, I tell you what, if that guy develops a consistent perimeter shot, which I know he's capable of doing, what a threat he's going to be offensively. Good rebound.
Not Sean Respert, but I think he's going to be. You're going to have to guard him. You're going to have to think about it.
Going to have to guard him in all facets. Absolutely.
Sean, the human highlight film in hockey has been Riker Lee, and hey, we might wind up in Washington D.C. We'll all be there for a Frozen Four with Michigan State and Michigan.
Oh, that's a step that has to happen. It really is. When you look at all the success that they've had, I'm sure right now they know, hey, look, the Big Ten's great. But at the end of the day, we want to get, and these are the words that hurt the most, we want to get to where Michigan has been a couple times in the last few years and beyond. We want that Final Four trip, and we want to take our chances when we're there. And Lord knows we want to go.
Michigan got that national championship in basketball. No Big Ten team has won in hockey since 2007, Michigan State. Welcome back to Press Pass here on Fox 47. It's time for the big picture, brought to you by Dean Transportation. Dean is hiring caring and dependable people as school bus drivers in many Michigan markets. Be a hero in your community and safely transport children to and from school with Dean. For more information and to apply, visit deantransportation.com/jobs. That's deantransportation.com/jobs.
So I feel like we have 3 guys who can really carry the ball and help us score points and win. So it's a strength of our offense. So whether we get 2 of them out there more often or just let them each roll and play, it's definitely a strength of our team, and we expect to have success rushing the football. Like you said, the last couple of years we've been really good nationally, and kind of expect that to continue. Because when you think of Michigan, that's what you think right off the bat, run the football, and we want to continue that.
And I first got there, I was watching a game from the 2023 season, watching Michigan's defense. And the more I watched, the more similarities I saw. So we used that tape a lot in how we wanted our guys to play the 2023 defense for Michigan. So I think there's a lot of similarities. I think the adjustments are very similar, and we'll put our own flair and flavor on it and what we do, but I think there's a lot of similarities.
Tom Crawford, what will Jason Beck and Jay Hill bring to U of M football from the Mountain region? And could they be the best pair of coordinators the Wolverines have had in quite a while?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, the strength of this team, in my opinion, is the coaching staff. And that starts with Kyle Whittingham. Yeah. Jason Beck we had 1 year at Utah after at New Mexico and flipped that Utah offense on a dime. He can fix this offense, and he can fix Bryce Underwood, or at least attempt to. And then Jason Beck, what he did at BYU is outstanding. No lack of coaching on this team. It's just going to be getting the players to buy in, which they are, at least emotionally are, but they got to do it from an execution standpoint too.
Tom, it's T-minus 20 for Michigan football. 20 nights away. You ready for an opener under the lights?
Yeah, not a big fan of under the lights. That means, let's see, post-game press conference, player avails. I do a podcast with Jack Ebling. I'll get home at 2:30 in the morning. It's football, and I'm looking forward more so to a noon kick when toe meets leather when they take on Oklahoma a week later.
Sean, when I think of the number 20, especially in Ann Arbor, I think of this guy. And one of the greatest running backs in Michigan history, but also a guy who helped Michigan State beat the Wolverines 7 times in 8 years.
He really did. I don't think enough credit is given to that, the whole little brother line. And it got to the point where I couldn't believe people kept saying that, Jack. It was like, hey, that didn't work out so well, but you guys can go ahead and keep saying it and everything. But I'm with you, Tom. I'm not sure the record is going to reflect a better Michigan team this year. I think they're going to be infinitely better, while the record might not indicate it, if that makes sense. It might be a different looking 9-3. So
with that schedule, it's the schedule itself bleeds 8-4 just looking at it.
Yep.
We know that Michigan has a tough matchup, a rematch with Oklahoma and then Texas next year. But what do you make of 2 upcoming games against Central Michigan? Are those games that you think are good for the Wolverines? You can't play all powerhouses, but what do you think of these 2? We're going to call them the Connor Stallions Bowl.
Well, and I'm not going to call it that. You can. But what I'm saying, playing Western before Oklahoma is a perfect warm-up act. I don't have that 28 schedule in front of me, but I think it's good. And Central and Western are both in the top 5 preseason expectations this year. So that's a good thing. I like the schedule. Play a MAC team and then have a juggernaut defense coming in with NFL player capital. And then later on in the year, you got Indiana at home and you got at Oregon, at Ohio State. Look at that schedule. And then Penn State's going to be improved. Iowa's defense is a top 10 defense. Wow. That's one of the toughest schedules in the country you're looking at right there, guys.
Sean, looking at the teams that have beaten Michigan twice in the 2020s, there aren't many. In fact, it's 2. It's Michigan State and Indiana. Can you believe the Spartans are the only team that have beaten Michigan home and away in the 2020s?
That's unbelievable. I mean, it really is. It's unbelievable because it just seems like this horror story has lasted longer than it has. It has, if you're a Michigan State football fan. People forget 2020 wasn't a banner year by any stretch of the imagination, but correct me if I'm wrong. I believe that was Halloween afternoon where we got a little early treat that particular afternoon. And then, of course, 2021, one for the ages. But Jack, it's this has been cyclical. There's no doubt about it, but it seems like it goes in bunches. You know what I mean? You saw the Michigan State dominance, and other than that, Michigan certainly has had their runs of dominance.
You win in stretches. Tom, Senior Day and the week leading up to it has always meant a ton to Ohio State. The senior tackle, all the tradition.
Right.
Now, Ryan Day wants to move Senior Day up to the opener and wants more time to focus on the last game of the season. Do you think he needs more focus on Michigan?
Well, whoever the case, I think that's a pretty good idea. Senior Day is typically sometimes a big rival game, the distraction. You got the parents marching out there, and the focus is the rivalry. I like the idea. Celebrate these guys before the season, before they get hurt.
Yeah, that's true.
I see where he's coming from. Totally.
That's true. You wind up with seniors who aren't even in uniform.
Yeah.
John, looking at the Buckeyes' regular season finales against team up north, shouldn't have that much concern. They've lost 6 times in this century. But, they just care about what happened last, and now Ohio State at home would be favored to make it 2 in a row, but they've lost as a favorite many times before.
They have, and I think a lot of times it's almost like Ryan Day forgets that, you know what, our identity is to have a track meet. We don't have to go mano a mano. This isn't the 10-year war. This isn't Woody Bowe. We have better players. We have more talented players. And one man's opinion, I think Ryan Day's been his own worst enemy sometimes in regards to coaching in that game.
Yeah, I think Ohio State's been tight in a lot of those games. When we get back, we're going to look at Indiana and the rest of college football up next on Press Pass. Welcome back to Press Pass on Fox 47. It's time for our one and only segment, brought to you by One North Kitchen and Bar on West Saginaw. Voted Lansing's best new restaurant and best sports bar, One North is the one place I take guests for amazing scratch cooking, craft cocktails, and more than 40 TVs to watch every game on every channel. That's One North Kitchen and Bar, where friends and family gather to make good times great.
When I was growing up, I didn't like when people wasted my time. And I don't want to waste the players' time. And I don't want to waste the coaches' time. And I don't make the coaches stay at night. Maybe that's why I got guys been with me so long. All right? And we start at 7:30 in the morning like everybody else. And you stay till your work's done. And I'm not checking to see who's there and who isn't. Right? But I can tell you one thing. When we're in that office, it's all business. It is all business. It's organized, preparation. And we're on that practice field. Look, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, hour 35 to an hour 45. Hour 35 to an hour 45. Monday, walkthrough. Friday, shorter walkthrough. I believe in keeping them fresh and healthy. And our players like the way we run the program. We've had a great culture for the last 8 to 10 years downstairs. And you can't put a value on a great culture. Now, winning helps, no doubt. But the right kind of people believing in your process, your blueprint, your plan helps too.
Wow.
There's Kurt Cignetti and the Hoosier Miracle. Maybe less is more in some cases. Tom, you were a few feet away from Cignetti at Big Ten Media Days in Chicago.
Yeah.
In 25 words or less, how do you describe the Indiana Miracle?
Perfection. I mean, look at that statement. And I got to look at myself. You and I we were snickering about this guy 2 years ago. When he Google me, I win. Lord, look. Just look at that little clip. That's how you do it. Yeah. Don't waste your time. Don't waste people's time. He's a hell of a coach, Jack. Hell of a coach.
Tom, almost every team in the country would love to have Notre Dame on the schedule.
Yeah.
And now the Irish have taken Indiana off their schedule. Apparently they don't want to play any tough games. And Cignetti said, I'd like to play Notre Dame. They ought to come to our place twice.
Yeah.
We'll go there once since they're not in a conference.
Yeah.
He's not afraid of anybody.
No, I like that. He's even willing to play 2 times at your place, one for one at our place. That's a hell of a deal for Notre Dame. Once again, he's got a lot of steel in his spine, that Curt Cignetti, I'm telling you.
Yeah, well, he thinks Notre Dame should come to Bloomington twice because they're the ones who need the credibility. Sean, only 2 conferences in history have placed 3 teams in the final AP top 5. 2 years ago, it was Ohio State, Oregon, and Penn State. Last year, Indiana, Oregon, and Ohio State. And they could do it a 3rd time. No other conference has ever done it. What does that say?
It's incredible. And Jack, it wasn't that long ago. A lot of people around here were trying to say we were better than the SEC. And you just giggled at it. And now it's role reversal. You hear people saying this in SEC country all the time. And I can't help but snicker at it and go, based on what? I mean, what else do you want? Championships? Do you want the top 5? This is really a banner time for this conference.
Tom, the AP preseason top 25 will be released tomorrow. But we have already seen the Football Writers Association of America, Super 16, and this is a select group of voters. I'd say some of the more knowledgeable ones in the country. Looking at that, you have Big Ten teams 1, 2, and 6. Who's too high and who's too low on that list?
Well, the top 5 are about as spot on as you can be. I might push Michigan up there to like 12, maybe.
Okay.
I maybe that high. And I think Miami, I think they're getting a lot of hype rollover from last year. But I'll tell you what, Notre Dame and Texas, I think it should be one of those 2. Win it all.
And Michigan still at 8.5 wins in Vegas. And even 9 wins, it would be hard to imagine them cracking the top 12, but maybe the schedule would change that. We'll be right back looking at the Lions in pro football next. Welcome back to Press Pass on Fox 47. It's time for our Law of the Jungle segment, brought to you by Graywall Law. With more than 100 years of combined legal experience, Graywall Law, PLLC, delivers expert guidance and trusted advocacy. Their skilled team is committed to justice, offering compassionate, results-driven representation. That's Graywall Law, a great choice for professionalism, dedication, and proven success.
Being kind.
Yeah,
well.
You're being kind.
We're not just on TV in Seattle tonight. Lock into the end zone. Touchdown, Seahawks! Montori Foster Jr.
Miller lets it go, and it's another pick. This time it's Malik Spencer.
There you see Montori Foster Jr. and Malik Spencer making plays in games a lot of people never thought they would play. Sean, I guess at least a few former Spartans weren't listening when people said the program had stopped producing pros. See how that works during the regular season if they make the team. Guys, one of the bigger NFL stories this offseason concerned the quarterback starter for Minnesota. Let's hear what Coach Kevin McConnell had to say.
A lot of, I know there's a lot of kind of reports and things out there regarding our quarterback situation, and just wanted to start out and say, we did, after some dialogue in-house and just kind of daily, analyzing the overall of where we're at right now, we did name Kyler Murray our starting quarterback.
Tom, what's next for J.J. McCarthy? You know him. You like him. You've seen him win a national championship. Does he have to get out of Minnesota now? He could be behind Kyler Murray for a long time.
Yeah, and that did not surprise me. And give Kyler Murray those snaps when he needs them in practice. It didn't surprise me. J.J. McCarthy is 23 years old, and he's a highly competitive guy, and he's got talent, and he got hurt, and but I do think he needs a new backdrop, and I hopefully gets a good fit. There's a lot of better fits in Minnesota for him, and I still think he's going to have a decent NFL career.
Sean, when people ask why would the Vikings bail on the 10th overall pick, the guy who was supposed to be their quarterback of the future, let's take a look at the salaries for those 2 players this year. Kyler Murray, with the money he's getting from the Cardinals plus the Vikings, over $38 million. That's Framber Valdez money.
Yeah, have to thoroughly play him to win that job, Jack. Make no mistake about it. And I think a lot of the cards were stacked against JJ. You saw some of the reports came out, and I know the one unidentified scout said football looks hard for him. Tom, I couldn't agree with you anymore. Anybody that wants to bury and say a kid's never going to make it at 23, I think you're crazy. But a change of scenery is probably needed.
Yeah, I heard Rico Beard laughing when Kevin O'Connell had his announcement there. He's always been critical of J.J. McCarthy.
Obsessed.
Tom, I've sat through enough NFL preseason games to know how little they mean. But what did you glean from a 16-14 win for the Bengals over the Lions in Cincy Thursday?
Well, scratching my head, who's going to be the backup quarterback? Saw a lot of offensive line penalties. That offensive line concerns me when you lose your center to injury for a while. That's what concerns me in all these teams is the offensive line. Yes. I didn't draw much out of it, though. I never do. I just like watching football. I can't get any grasp about who's good, who's not watching an exhibition game. I'm sorry, I can't.
Sean, Rico and I have been arguing about the Lions' fate in 26. And with that fourth place schedule, I think maybe their three hardest games are three of the last four. I can see them getting off to a great start. How many games does this team win regular season?
I'm going to stick at 11. I don't know how legitimate. I don't look at them and say Super Bowl contender right now. I think because of some of the questions that Tom brought up, the entire secondary has a question mark around it. It really does. What's Kirby Joseph? When's Brian Branch going to come back? Is Abney going to be able to step right in? Might they change their philosophy and get after the quarterback? One thing that jumped out to me was Hassanin. I dubbed him the Egyptian magician. It was one of those things. It's nice to see somebody else get after the quarterback, but I don't look at them as a true Super Bowl contender this year.
I said 12-5. Rico said 9-7. So we settled on 10.5. And I'll take your 11-6, Sean. That's good. I'll send you a picture of our dinner.
Sounds good.
Guys, I don't have a lot left on the bucket list, but having been at the Lions' last championship win, that was my 6th birthday present in 1957. I said, it'll happen sometime. And I asked my dad, hey, can we do this again next year? And we've never quite had the next year. So that is still out there. We'll be right back with our weekly awards coming up next here on Press Pass. Welcome back to Press Pass here on Fox 47. It's time for our Lansing's Best segment, brought to you by the Lansing Sports Commission, bringing thousands of athletes and teams to mid-Michigan for hundreds of tournaments and special events. Hats off to the LSC for showing just what this area can be. Plan on something greater.
Swing drive, well hit right. Suzuki back. It is gone. It is gone. It is gone. 3 homers for Baez. Major League history at Wrigley Field.
I got a message yesterday, guys. Hey, Baez hit 3 home runs against Chicago. I said, what? I was watching some of that game. Javi Baez has only hit 2 home runs all year. The guy said, no, Joshua Baez, not the White Sox, the Cubs. And we'll talk more about that in just a minute. All right, Team 672. Time for our weekly awards. Sean Baligian, let's start with our play of the week. What do you have?
I have to give it to Murakami, that home run that gave the Sox a lead they didn't relinquish today. This was a huge weekend, a huge statement for the White Sox, and maybe a big statement for Murakami as well. It's a 2-horse race for Rookie of the Year. He added some flavor to his bid, so I'll give it to Murakami for that 2-run blast today.
I'm sure the White Sox are really happy, and they wouldn't trade rookies with Kevin McGonigal, believe it or not. Not on the South Side. Tom Crawford, what about our team of the week?
Yeah, team of the week. This is clearly tongue-in-cheek. I'll do that disclaimer. The Big Ten BTN football live crew going to all 18 destinations in the Big Ten, they make every one of those teams look like they have a shot of winning a Big Ten championship. I'm telling you what, Dave Refson needs to get into infomercials. He would make millions, way more than he can make. He's amazing. Those guys are indeed, but I still enjoy it.
Yeah, and according to Rever, none of them are ever going to lose a game. It's amazing. Great job, gentlemen. I'll finish up with our players of the week. Mention Joshua Baez. First pitch he saw in the majors. He hit well over 400 feet to straightaway center, then to left, then to right, working his way around the clock. And if you had bet $10 that he would do that, as no player in baseball history has, you would have made $7 trillion. It's 758 billion to 1 were the odds on him doing that. Just amazing stuff. Well, what about the late Tommy John? Died at 83. I think he's underrated. He's not in the Hall of Fame, guys, but he's the second most wins of any non-Hall of Famer. He has 22 more wins than Justin Verlander.
Wow.
And everyone knows him for Tommy John surgery. He's not the Tommy John from the underwear. But he's also the guy who got into that big fight at Tiger Stadium with Dick McAuliffe in 1968.
I remember that.
And how about former Tiger, still hard to say that, Jake Rogers? He got a great ovation yesterday coming back, but he's the first major leaguer that's played for 4 teams, all in the American League in a span of 21 days. The previous record was 42 days, so he did it in half the time. And he's managed to strike out for all 4 teams. So that's a little different. All right. For Sean Baligian and Tom Crawford, Jack Ebling saying, have a great week, everyone.